Right, so today, Bertil, I think we're going to try a thought experiment. So, picture this. You are an interstellar explorer, combing the stars for signs of intelligent life. Years into your voyage, you discover a veritable gem in the cold void, a planet bereft of violence, starvation, servitude. This planet's inhabitants live in peace, never having to worry about where they're going to sleep tonight or how much they're going to get to eat tomorrow. Their lives are untouched by war, ungoverned by kings or corporations, and their planet's resources are tapped wisely and rationally, and aren't in danger of depletion or pollution. So now picture that after a pleasant sojourn on this idyllic Earth, this is the Earth of the near future, by the way, with any luck, you take off again, and you arrive at another planet. This planet, however, suffers from endemic organized violence between states and peoples. Millions live in hunger and anxiety and constant exposure, working jobs with inhuman conditions if they're lucky. Even amongst the highest echelons of this planet's society, you'll find people who work away the days in tiny little offices, trying to fight off debt they've incurred from buying homes and education they can't afford. Now you see what has happened is your ship has gone through some sort of strange space-time phenomenon, and this is another Earth of the possible future, or perhaps the present.
Okay, so let me guess. The point of the thought experiment is to find out how both of these worlds seem so possible.
Exactly. And I believe all of their differences can come down to what is essentially one rather simple idea.
One idea. So what's your idea?
Do you remember when you worked at a grocery store back home?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So tell me about your relationship with your boss.
Well, I think it was pretty much like any other employer-employee relationship, really. I mean, I had my paycheck coming in every month, and he had canned pineapples and assorted household utensils on his shelves. I mean, my economic needs were somewhat satisfied, and when he wasn't there, I would just sort of sit in the back room and do nothing all day.
So essentially, he was paying you the legal minimum to have you do some work, and you were working the least possible while not getting fired. That was your goal. Not much work got done, and nobody was happy, I assume.
Right, okay, I see what you mean. But still, I don't see how the way we run grocery stores in Denmark is... How we should run the future planet Earth.
Well, it totally does, believe it or not. And okay, to prove it to you, let's use another example.
Okay.
You're quite a well-traveled gentleman. So tell me about the trip you took with your family to the north of Italy after you got the microphone.
Yeah. So my trip to Italy, yeah. Well, we were there for a week. We stayed at a nice hotel. We ate good Italian food at restaurants. And when we were done, we sort of packed our stuff and we went home, and it's been a great week. But Sam, I don't really see what this has to do with anything.
Well, if you think about it, you see, the relationship that your family had with the tourist industry is in fact quite similar to the relationship you had with your boss. Here, of course, so your parents are back home in Denmark working some job, selling time for money, and when they've decided that they have enough, they go on the trip. And you arrive in Italy, but Italy, you see, is ready for you. These hotels charge just as much as they can think they can get out of you while keeping you as customers. All of the sites and the monuments are all commercialized to squeeze as much money as possible out of the tourists. What's happening here is that they're trying to make the most money, the easiest off you, and your parents are trying to pay the least to feel like they're not at home. It's quite sad, really.
Right, okay, Sam, I get your point. But so what you're saying is if we all just stop working in grocery stores, then if we don't go to Italy on vacation, the world is going to be one of the paradise of abundance?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm trying to illustrate here is that a lot of our daily relationships, be they personal or professional, are defined by this sort of mutual exploitation. And the more impersonal the relationship becomes, the more distant, the easier and the more insidious this exploitation becomes. And as, of course, you've heard a million times, today's world is one of global systems and interactions. And that means that exploitation can stretch from some CEO in his private jet all the way to some poor factory worker in Southeast Asia who makes $12 for 12 hours of work a day.
Ah, okay, so it's the fault of the rich people in the West, of course, that there's so much poverty and scarcity, huh?
No, and that's actually part of the problem. You see, this isn't like medieval France, where the poor people can just rise up and claim their fair share without having to worry about whether it's the right thing to do. In today's world, we've all sort of agreed that the best way to run things is to compete and to exploit. And anyone who disagrees is a hopeless idealist, a radical, a communist, an anarchist.
Oh, okay, so we're screwed, are we? I mean, if there's no one to blame and it's no one's fault, and there's no one to stop, how are we going to make sure we get to that first world you talked about and not the second one?
Well, it wouldn't be easy, but I don't necessarily think we're screwed. Okay, another example. You're big into music, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me how it is that you can have 3,000 hip-hop albums on your computer.
Oh, well, I get them off websites.
Right, but how do the websites work?
Oh, it's quite simple, actually. I mean, I have some music that I like and I want to share with people, so I put it on the website. And in turn, I get the website that other people shared with me. Of course, I know, for established musicians, this isn't the greatest, but think about it, for a lot of young musicians, for new musicians, this is great because their music gets exposed and their shows fill up.
Yeah, okay, so you see, there are some relationships that are based on the opposite of mutual exploitation. This is more like mutual aid. Instead of having to, worry about how much am I getting out of this guy and how much am I losing myself, everyone is just, in this case, sharing and not worrying about how much they're losing, and no one has to be prevented from enjoying art because they can't afford it.
Oh, okay, sure, but that's just one example. We have to get rid of a whole world of exploitation here.
Well, there are other examples. Okay, something a little bit more personal. Describe for me, if you please, your relationship with that last girlfriend of yours.
Oh, my last girlfriend? Yeah, sure. That was special. You see, I wasn't just in it for the pleasure, or at least not the sort of normal, everyday stuff people call pleasure. It was more like happiness, really. I mean, I was silly in love, sure, and I wasn't in it with my best intentions, but it sure was great, though.
So do you see the similarity between the music piracy and the personal relationship?
Yeah, sure, but so what you mean to say is that if we all just become music pirates and start being nice to our girlfriends, humanity is going to stop exploiting itself? I mean, we need a revolution or something. People aren't just going to stop exploiting each other when they watch our TED Talk.
No. We can't have a revolution, remember? At least not a French-style one. Because no one person or group of people is particularly guilty of setting up or maintaining the system.
Oh, so you want a slow and gradual change?
Yeah, it's going to have to be slow and gradual change. Don't get into relationships that are based on mutual exploitation. That kind of relationship might make sense for beings who can't plan beyond their shorter-term needs or can't communicate well. But why should we, modern humans, who can organize ourselves to an extreme complexity, communicate instantly over vast distances, plan years, decades in advance, why should we be wasting our resources on rising above those around us when we can reach so much further if we pool those resources?
Right, okay, Sam, you're getting me here, but still, imagine a CEO. He's gonna get rid of this system that he's already benefiting so much from. I mean, exploitation isn't just gonna go out of style all of a sudden.
Yeah, no, that's true, and it's true that in the short run, someone like that would have less stuff. But do you really think that the richest man in the world would be any more or less happy if he won or lost $10 million? I mean, probably not. And in the long run, everyone will be better off if we share talents and share resources and share ideas. 7 billion brains are better than one, after all.
Okay, I see what you mean. Hey, you want to buy?
Yeah, thanks.